guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, subscribe to the channel please. And if you don't like what you see, then don't subscribe to the channel. But I figured I'd take this time and share with you guys my new computer setup that I finally put together. I've always played video games on console since I've been a little kid. You know, started with a Nintendo, you know, the NES. I was playing Mario, Super Mario Brothers. And since then I've loved gaming. It's been a nice escape from reality. Not that reality's bad, I guess, but it's been a nice outlet for me for growing up and even through my my adult years. But yeah, I've always wanted to build a computer to game on, and now that so many of the games are cross-platform, I figured it was finally time to do it. So I can still play with my friends that are on console that haven't moved off of it yet, but I can get the quality of the PC gaming experience along with it at the same time, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys the hardware that I got in the computer, and you know what made me decide to install the things that I have in there. And I'm looking for, you know, suggestions on new videos if you want me to go through some of the hardware that I have on here and talk about more parts individually and give you my opinion on them. I'd do that gladly, so just leave a comment in the video. Yeah, so let me show you what I'm working with here. So we'll just go in here, type in DXDIAG after hitting the Windows R key, and you can see my system information here. So I installed the AMD Ryzen 9 5900X, and it's running off of Windows 10. I have 64 gigs of Corsair DDR4 3600 RAM. You can see that right there. And my GPU, the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090, and it's made by EVGA, as I'm sure you'll see in the video. It's the For the Win 3 Ultra Edition, so it's overclocked technically from the factory. That takes care of that. And just to show you guys my settings that I run on when I am in gaming, especially when I'm recording, because when I'm recording and playing in game, the FPS does take a little bit of a hit because the CPU is partially being utilized by the recording as well as the game itself. So I'll compare the two. I'll put a camera up behind me and record the screen, and then I'll record the screen while I'm playing both times, so you guys can see the difference in FPS. When you might, if you're planning on using the system for streaming, you'll see the hit that you'll take, and you kind of decide if you want to tweak your settings as far as video quality recording or not. But yeah, so I do usually apply a light overclock to my graphics card. I don't really. I let the CPU do its thing. The Precision Boost Overdrive on the CPU, from I'd say the majority of the games you might be playing, just leaving it the CPU at its default settings are going to give you the best results. A lot of people like to do just an all-core overclock as high as it'll go, and that doesn't usually give you the best results because it'll boost individual cores on its own higher than the clock speed you can get with an all-core overclock. And gaming isn't utilizing all the cores, so you want to let it boost as high as it can go, you know, up over 5,000, because then you're going to get the highest FPS in game, and a lot of the results that you might see online are gonna reflect that too. So I'll leave the CPU alone. I downloaded a EVGA Precision X1, which allows you to tweak some of the graphics card settings. And I have a 200 added to the memory clock, a 91 applied to the GPU clock speed, and I have my power to 106, and these are linked together, so the GPU temp and the power move up together. So the power will go to 107 from the factory settings. I don't have the overclocked BIOS downloaded or anything like that. I just leave it at 106. For some reason, I get more stable results with 106 than I do with 107. So the way I figured out those numbers were, and I've heard a lot of, MSI Afterburner might be a better software to use, and I might go in there and redo it with that to see what I get, but I just tweak these numbers and just let it do its thing. It automatically is going to scan frequencies and adjust the power levels and everything and give you the highest stable overclock that you should apply based on what this software thinks is the best. So I just plugged those numbers in and I figured it'd be good, and it's been great so far. I did get a little boost in performance, but I know I'm not like killing my graphics card. And the big thing that you gotta be careful about is making sure you adjust your fan controls. You're gonna get the most stable performance by having your fans on earlier and a little bit higher than default. So I got those cranked up. They're not too loud. They really aren't loud until you get over 90%. It like doubles the sound level when you get over 90% for some reason, but it also moving a lot of air below 90, like right in here. So when I'm gaming, it's right in here. It's below 90 when I'm gaming, and it's not loud, and it stays under 70. It says 63, 64 I might see. Never goes over 70, but I do have a big case. A lot of fans in there, really big case, and I just let the airflow go. I mean, that's how you're gonna get your most stable performance and your best performance, is making sure you got a lot of airflow. If you can afford a bigger case, just buy a bigger case. It might look like there's a lot of empty space in there. Just fill it up with some fans. Fans aren't too expensive. They're like, you buy a 3-pack of fans for 30 bucks. Link them all together, and you get a cool look and cooler parts that are going to perform better. Alright guys, so going to everyone's favorite, little Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I'll show you guys my settings in game, and these are the settings I run. Just it's kind of a balance between performance and quality. I do like to take advantage of the high frame rates because I do have the Samsung Odyssey G7 monitor. It's a 1440p monitor, G-Sync compatible, and it's 240 hertz. So I want to try and get as close to that 240 hertz as I can, but also have good visibility in the game so I can see everyone from far away. And the settings I'm running are right here. What's nice in here is it automatically sets the minimized game frame limit and the menu frame limit to 60, as you can see in the top left corner. Up in here, it's going a little over that, probably because it's like a car at a drag strip revving its engine before it goes, because I mean it's ready to go. It wants to go above that. Running at 60 degrees. There's the clock. You'll see the clock go up, usually a little bit over 2,000 in game, and be able to see the amount of VRAM it's using with these settings. So I do like the details and textures, ultra and high, they're all the way up. So I want to be able to see everyone. The effects quality, got those set to high. You can turn that on and off. I mean, I don't know why I have it on high, honestly. It doesn't really make a difference to me. Probably knock that down to medium, actually. The reflections, I like to have some reflections, obviously, but I don't really. It might just interfere with you being able to see somebody if it's turned all the way up. So I leave that on low, and view distance high, obviously, for seeing people. Volumetric lighting. Just leave that. I leave that on medium, so there are some. And then shadows, the same thing. I want to see the shadows, but I don't care if there's detail. At least in this type of game. Dynamic shadows. I'll leave those on all because I like to see the shadows of other players. It might help me see them. The special effects shadows, like I said, same thing with the special effects. It's not going to really improve my gameplay, my ability to play the game by changing that. Because obviously this is a multiplayer. I'm trying to win. I'm not necessarily looking for the most visually appealing experience. Weapon shadows, I have that enabled, just like I said before, so I can see the other players. I disable ray tracing when I'm playing multiplayer or Warzone. I'll leave that on NVIDIA DLSS. I do have that set all the way to quality. Like I said, it kind of just, it might help you see somebody a little bit clearer if you're trying to snipe them from far away or whatever. Motion blur disabled. Motion blur quality doesn't matter if it's disabled. And I set the subsurface scattering. Basically the things that have to do with the detail of the image, I have those all up, whereas like the special effects and the lighting and stuff like that, I have that all just turned down. And yeah, so that's that. Let's go into a game and see how it runs while I'm recording. I'm interested to see too, actually.
Alright guys, I won't make you watch, and oh look at that. Actually, all that gameplay just made my beard just fall right off. It's crazy how that happens. But I won't make you watch too much of that. I just wanted to show you, the reason I put the camera up like that is because it's the only way I can really show you the difference in the FPS while you're recording. So if you're streaming, you got to take that into consideration when you're building your PC. Um, you might build a PC that is kind of mid-range, more of a budget PC, and you get it all set up. Everything plays good. You know, you're playing at 1440p, 60 to 100 FPS in your favorite games, and then you open up OBS Studio and you start recording, and you're like, man, like my frame rates are really taking a hit. Like I'm not as playing it as as a competitive of a level as I was when I wasn't streaming. You figure out that yeah, your streaming's the recording is doing that to you. And that's going to happen across pretty much any streaming platform or recording platform that you use, because your CPU and all the hardware in your computer is being utilized. Part of it's being utilized to record and stream. The other part's being used to game, and it can partition that based on the needs. But I've noticed it doesn't really matter what streaming quality you put it to or recording quality you put it to. It's still going to take that hit. And you notice I'm getting, it never really dips below 200 when I'm not recording or streaming. Stayed pretty well above that. It was hitting 250, between 210 250. And as soon as I started recording in gunfights, it was dipping down to the high 170s, 180. Started out at 230, 240, and then was dipping down. So for me, I noticed maybe like a 30 FPS hit on my system with recording. So take that into consideration. That's why I wanted to include that in there to show you guys the difference. Obviously, I can still record and get basically 200 FPS. I can tweak the settings a little bit more in my graphics. I don't really need texture quality on ultra. I could probably put it on high. That's going to raise my FPS. And there's a couple other tweaks I can do. And I'll make more videos in the future. I'm going to go through my settings that I have in my PC to show you how to get the highest FPS possible if that's what you're looking for. Yeah, so I'll go through the Warzone settings, the settings in Windows. There's a lot of settings in Windows that need to be tweaked. NVIDIA control panel, there's a lot of settings that need to be tweaked in there. If you're going to want to do those, especially if you're recording, because like I said, you are going to take that hit. So you may need to sacrifice some of the special effects in order to keep your gameplay at a high enough FPS to where you're still really competitive. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you like my new computer. I did get the PCIe power connector on my graphics card changed, so they all match. They're all red now. That was just one that I had laying around. When I switched from the 3080 to the 3090, I didn't have an extra one. I had to just find some little extension cable that worked. It didn't match. Got them all matching now. Look great. Looks great. But thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, like I said, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll be making a lot more videos. And I hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for watching. Peace.